Why does no one ever talk about how Lord Finesse essentially killed the mixtape in hip hop? In 2012, Mac Miller was sued by Lord Finesse for using Lord Finesse's song "Hip to the Game" on the song Kool-Aid and Frozen Pizza.
I'm hip to the game, always be the same. Kool-Aid and Frozen Pizza, it's the work of art, I ain't talking Mona Lisa.
Now, if you remember this time in hip hop, this is 2012, this is the blog era. Artists are using mixtapes to create buzz for themselves, to eventually drop studio albums, to gain popularity, and to make hit records. Artists like Drake, Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, they all came up by dropping mixtapes that created enough buzz to where a label felt comfortable giving them a budget for a studio album. Mixtapes were an essential part of hip hop in the 2010s and the 2000s. Now, if we're going to call Drake soft for his defamation lawsuit against UMG, and if we're going to call Drake anti-hip hop, we also need to call Lord Finesse anti-hip hop and soft the same way we allege Drake is for this lawsuit against Mac Miller. I think Lord Finesse's lawsuit against Mac Miller is even worse than what Drake is doing with UMG. I think both are bad looks for hip hop because they go against some core tenets of rap music. Diss records, this has been going on in rap music for decades, back to Busy B, Kumo D, KRS, LL Cool J. Most of our hip hop legends have been battle tested and put out diss records. It's almost a foundational part of rap. Mixtapes are the same way. If you're an artist who got put on the shelf, whose label says, we're not dropping any more music by you, you haven't proved yourself to be profitable for us, you've been a money sink for us, you're on the shelf, you don't get to drop any more music until we tell you to. Artists use mixtapes to create buzz for themselves. Because let's say an artist is in a 5 or 10 album deal and they're only on album 2, then they get shelved. The rest of their career is effectively over unless they can find a lawyer good enough to get them out of their contract or buy their way out of their contract themselves, if given that option. A mixtape was a way to say, hey, we're going to drop this collection of music. It's not going to count towards our albums, but maybe, just maybe, we'll create enough buzz when we drop the mixtape on a site like 2DopeBoys, NawRight.com, IllRoots.com. Maybe we'll create enough buzz to where the label will be willing to fund a single. And if that single does well based on the buzz and fan base we've created from the mixtape, we can take that and get a budget for an album. This was an essential part of the blog era, 2010s hip hop, and even before. Rappers like 50 Cent came up almost completely on mixtapes. 50 Cent and G-Unit Radio, those are some of the most fun times in rap, where 50 Cent is taking all the popular beats and rapping over them, remixing the songs, being humorous and also being lyrical at times. Lil Wayne did the same on A Drought 3. Most of us who are around for the blog era knew Wayne not because of the Carter 1 and the Carter 2 or even the Carter 3. We knew of Wayne before that because of Dedication 2, The Drought 3. These are mixtapes where guys like 50 Cent, guys like Lil Wayne are taking industry beats and rapping over them. This became almost as core a part of hip hop as sampling music, rapping over someone's beats. And it's not like the rappers were putting out these mixtapes and selling them with other people's beats on them. Mixtapes were pretty much free. They were low risk for the consumer. As a listener, hey, this is a free project. I can download it. It's easy to access. I'm sure you have bootleggers who would sell mixtapes, but we're speaking more so in the blog era when these mixtapes were dropping on livemixtapes.com and DatPiff, etc. For the listener, it's low risk. Hey, I'm going to download this free mixtape. If I don't like it, I just delete it. It's no harm, no foul. And for the artist, it's also a little bit low risk as well, because the artist is like, hey, this mixtape, this project is not going to be sent out to the masses, right? Like if a label put their budget behind a studio album. This mixtape, I can experiment a little on this mixtape. I can try something different. I can kind of see what works and kind of A&R myself with my fans, with the listeners, to kind of catch my footing and see what works for me. I can do this on a mixtape. And I can drop mixtape after mixtape. You'll remember that one year, Currency, in order to create a buzz for himself, dropped a mixtape every single month. So it's low risk for the artist in that if I flop on this mixtape, I can just come back. There was a time in hip hop when a great beat came out like 6'7" by Wayne or Upgrade You by Beyonce, the rappers would swarm to that beat. And it was a competition to see who can murk this beat the best. Guys like 50 Cent and Lil Wayne took it a step further, created their own song around it. You would forget the original song and you would only associate it with 50 Cent or Wayne's version. Now think about the last time you heard a mixtape, a proper mixtape where a rapper's just killing beats, rapping over industry beats. It's been a long time, hasn't it? This is due in part, large in part, to Lord Finesse. So I know people are gonna say, yo, Drake isn't a part of hip hop culture anymore because of this lawsuit against UMG. And I also think that it's not a great move for Drake to go and sue because the diss record hurt his feelings, essentially, is what we're getting at here. But I would say if you hold that standard to Drake, hold this same standard to Lord Finesse, founder of the Digging in the Crates crew. We talking Big L, Fat Joe, Diamond D, Showbiz and AG, OC. Hold that same standard to him. Because Drake's lawsuit can essentially, if he's successful in his lawsuit, Drake can essentially end the diss record in rap. What record label wants to allow a diss record that has defamatory information? Diss is short for disrespect. What label wants to allow that when there's a precedent been set by Drake that they can be successfully sued for this? What I'm talking about with diss records is what Lord Finesse did to the mixtape. Like I said, think about the last time you heard a new mixtape where a rapper's rapping over old beats, industry beats. It's been a while, hasn't it? In 2012, Lord Finesse sued Mac Miller for rapping over one of his beats on a free mixtape.
I'm hip to the game, always be the same. Kool-Aid and frozen pizza, it's a work of art, I ain't talking Mona Lisa.
So if we're gonna look at Drake like he's not hip hop for suing over something like a diss record, hold that same standard for Lord Finesse. He sued another rapper for rapping over his beat on a mixtape. And it's not like Mac Miller was out here selling that mixtape, doing some foul stuff, trying to skirt the rules. It was the same way everyone else was rapping over beats. I think Lord Finesse felt empowered to do this because he might have looked at Mac Miller like, oh, this is just a little white boy. He's not from the culture anyways. No one's really going to care about this, which I don't think really anyone, I'm the only person I know who's spoken about this like this since it's happened. So maybe Lord Finesse was right. Maybe people do look at Mac Miller like he's not from the culture. Who cares? He owes us anyway. He's white. He owes us anyway. Some people actually think like that, sadly. But Lord Finesse's lawsuit, it has the same reaching elements that Drake's has. Like how Drake is trying to say that what, come up means that Kendrick is inciting violence against Drake by saying he'll come up, and wop wop means the sound of the punches landing. Lord Finesse did something similar. Well, sure, Mac Miller didn't sell the mixtape with my song on it, but Mac Miller performed the song Kool-Aid and Frozen Pizza at shows where he sold tickets to those shows, and those people went to those shows and bought those tickets because they anticipated Mac Miller performing Kool-Aid and Frozen Pizza, which is my beat. Reaching. But it worked. So is it, could I say it's reaching if it actually worked? This is a case about teenage rapper Mac Miller copying the music from a song written, produced, and performed by Lord Finesse, a hip-hop legend, changing the title and then distributing it under his own name to launch his music career. This is every mixtape rapper who rapped over someone's beat. They changed the title of the song, distributed it under their own name, and launched it in order to create some buzz for themselves. Mac Miller released his version of Hip to the Game on mixtapes, a term used to describe free music by up-and-coming rappers. The mixtape strategy has been favored by many rappers and hip-hop producers in recent years. Rappers often record new rhymes over the instrumentals of older popular rap songs and distribute the music for free. Lord Finesse, whose real name is Robert Hall, sued the website datpiff.com, which is one of the best known distributors of free mixtapes from new rappers, and he sued Mac Miller's label, Rostrum Records. In 2010, Mac Miller recorded himself rapping over Finesse's music and renamed the song Kool-Aid and Frozen Pizza. Miller signed with Rostrum in July 2010 and released a mixtape called Kids, which contained Kool-Aid and Frozen Pizza. The mixtape was released on DatPiff in August 2010 and it's been downloaded more than 500,000 times. and streamed more than 450,000 times. Really, those seem like low numbers. Should be millions. That's a great song. The video for Kool-Aid and Frozen Pizza uses the beat for Hip to the Game, which is Lord Finesse's song, has been viewed nearly 24 million times on YouTube. There we go. Finesse says Miller has profited from the unauthorized use for the song. The lawsuit cites a New York Times article from last November about Miller that explains how the alleged infringement is part of a strategy to build a fan base. Of course. You see how insidious they make this sound? The infringement is a part of a strategy to build a fan base. Yes, that's why we drop mixtapes, bro. We trying to get hot out here. First, the good news. A new generation of rappers is actively trying to build a new business model in which releasing oodles of free material online builds a fan base that paves the way for revenue streams. Finesse said he filed the lawsuit after DatPiff, Rostrum, and Miller refused to respond to a cease and desist letter earlier this month. The $10 million lawsuit alleges copyright, infringement, unfair competition, unjust enrichment, interference, deceptive trade practices, and a number of related law claims. Finesse also seeks a permanent injunction from the court. Is Lord Finesse hip-hop? I'm asking y'all a tough question. See, to the younger people watching, you probably don't really know Lord Finesse. You don't know who Digging in the Crates crew is. But for the people who know, we can say Drake is not hip-hop. For suing UMG, I agree. Is Lord Finesse hip-hop? This lawsuit, which is 2012, this is about the time where rappers really chilled out on the mixtapes. The year before that, it was a gang of mixtapes. Even 2012, gang of mixtapes. After this, it's kind of slowed down. There's precedent to get sued for rapping over someone else's beat. Is Drake hip-hop for suing UMG? I don't think that's a hip-hop move. So for the people who actually know Lord Finesse and Digging in the Crates crew, are you also prepared to say that Lord Finesse is not hip-hop? Lord Finesse ended the mixtape era in hip-hop. Facts! By suing Mac Miller. I'll be trying to ask the hard questions. Let me know in the comments. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Top5rapwebsite.com. Peace.